Okay, so welcome back to Art Impressions, Watercolor Back to Basics with me. I am Kendra Krebs and I am here every Tuesday evening, 5 o'clock PST, and I'm bringing you some really basic tutorials that you can do as a beginner, and you don't have to have any experience to be able to do these tutorials, and I do my absolute best to walk you through step by step how to make these very simple projects, which look much more difficult than they are. They actually end up being, and so it looks like I'm trying to reconnect here. Let me just make sure. Okay, I'm good. And so let's go ahead and show you what we're going to be making today. We're going to be doing this really cute fall / Halloween wreath right here. It's super simple. It's so fun. You can do the little faces on the jack-o'-lanterns, or you could just keep it very simple and have just the pumpkins, okay? So whatever you want to do with this, I've got a couple versions that I can show you. We're going to do this really simple one, but I have a couple other ideas that I can show you when we flip around the camera. Hi, Vicky. Good to see you. I'm excited you're here. So if you want to stamp along with me, go ahead and grab your vine, a couple branches, a couple pumpkins if you want to. If you don't have pumpkins, just grab a cat or grab a pot. Whatever you want to use to practice with is totally fine with me. Use what you have. If you don't have these things, use what you have. If you have a flower and a foliage, great. That is all you need. And then if you've got a little something that you can put in the front, even better. But if you don't have that, you could just do this single wreath all the way around with the same colors and the same stamps, okay? Hi, Diane. Good to see you. Diana, that's very cute and very versatile. True. So you'll see how versatile it is because we can add more, kind of change it up, give it a different look. And I'm going to show you some of my other ideas for this project when I turn us around. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to flip the camera around and get us situated here. Okay. Hi, Catherine. No worries. Come anytime you can. All right, I'm like on an acrylic block or something here. So, okay. So I think I'm situated. I might be just a little bit close. Okay, and I've got some stains on here, just ignore. Okay, so this is the project that we're gonna be doing today. And it's super simple. You'll see it's just a couple of stamps and it's really easy. We just used the same pumpkin here. Very simple. I didn't even mask it out, but you can. You can if you want a really nice, you know, differentiation between pumpkins. It wasn't a big deal for me because I knew that I would sort of wash out some of these lines anyway. So I just went with it and just, you know, put them in, and you'll see that when we go in to do the project, okay? But you can see we've got some branches, some vines here, it's a little flower. So let me show you what we're going to be using for this project right now. Okay, starting with our main stamps, which are going to be the pumpkins. And this is going to come from our brand new release. This is the SKU 5426, and this is the watercolor veggies. And I'm just going to be using this pumpkin, but this would be really cute to use both pumpkins. And I can show you, I'm going to, actually the other ones I have to show you have both pumpkins in it, okay? So, hi Allie. Oh yes, we're all smiling. Hi Deanna. So, and Debbie says, plus Kendra dots. Absolutely. I have that set in here too. Okay, so I'm just going to use this one, but I'll show you other ones, other examples that utilize both of these pumpkins. Okay, so that's watercolor veggies. And then I'm going to use the Foliage Set 1, SKU 4051. And I'm going to use this vine right here. This is the basic vine, and it is a must-have if you're just starting. This vine can be used in essentially any project that you have. It's a wonderful vine, and we use it quite a bit. All right, for our next set, the watercolor branches set, this is SKU 4964. And I'm going to use this long one right here and also this smaller one right there. These are really, really great. I'm going to use them all around the wreath. And if you were with me last week, you'll remember that I used some branches around the wreath. I believe these are the same two that I used in that tutorial as well, okay? And then also, I haven't decided if I'm going to use this one yet. I didn't use it in this project here, but I really like the idea of these little leaves, so I might include that, I might not, but I thought I would just show you that these leaves from Watercolor Foliage Set 4, SKU 5126, would be really, really cute in this too. Okay, so that's this one, and I may or may not use it, depending on how I feel like this is sort of how I'm building my wreath and whether I think I have the space, okay? And then for our last stamp is going to be actually the Bible Journaling flower set, and it's going to be this little flower right here, but I'm using these as leaves essentially, okay? So this is SKU number 5074 Bible flower set, and it's these leaves. However, if you don't have these leaves, then these ones from Watercolor Flower Set 2, SKU 4868, will work just as well, okay? So if you don't have the Bible flower set, you can use this little circle set and you will absolutely love that one too, okay? So let's get started. And for those of you who are new, I use the Watercolor Canson paper. So this is 140 pound cold press paper and the size is 9 by 12, but I quarter these so that I have a 4.5 by 6 piece of project paper. Okay, so I believe 4.5 by 6. Is that right? Does that make sense? I feel like that's kind of big. 6 by 4.5. Okay, so 4.5 by 6. That would make sense, right? So that is the project size that I use for essentially all of my tutorials unless I specify otherwise, okay? So we are going to take a new piece of that Canson paper, and I'm going to start off by making my circle. Now this is just adhesive, and I like to use this for my wreath circles. It's really easy, but you could easily use a circle die. And this is a 3-inch circle, just so for those of you wondering. So I'm just going to draw a little circle in here. And just like that, okay? I will take my little pumpkins and I'm going to use just this size, okay? So I'm going to put 3 of these right up here in front. Okay. The fall set has a stem with some similar flowers as well. Oh, good to know. I did not think of that. And when there's, honestly, Debbie, when there's so many sets, I'm like, I just typically use the first one that comes to mind because there's a lot of them that would work really well. Okay, I'm just grabbing a little stamp off paper. Okay, this is another project that, we were working on, didn't turn out as, like we wanted. And so we just use it for a scratch paper. So don't throw any of your watercolor paper away. Even if you don't like the project, you can use it to stamp off on, okay? So I'm going to use number 969. 969. And I am going to take that 969 and ink that little pumpkin. Now I'm going to stamp that off. See how dark that is? I don't want it that dark. So I'm going to stamp it off, and I'm actually just going to put these just right next to each other like that. And it's okay that you have a line through here because we're going to take our orange and essentially blend those lines out. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it if that happens to you in the future. You know, a lot of these lines, we're gonna put so much color in that you're not even gonna see them. So don't stress too much about that, okay? So once we have those in, now we kind of want to start building our little wreath here. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can get a better view here. And I'm going to take that really big branch, this one, the long one, and actually I wonder if I could fit this on a smaller acrylic block, because I'm not going to ink this whole thing. I really just want this bit. And I'm a little bit... So when something doesn't stick for you, you can just take a bit of water. I'll put it just on the back here and rub off any dust or debris that it's begun to collect. And a lot of times that's why it won't stick to your acrylic block. If you use it a lot, see how clean that is now? And it's just gonna stick right on without any problem. See? See, it's not coming off now, and it was not wanting to stick before, okay? So I'm sure there are lots of other ways that you can get that off with a baby wipe or whatever works for you, but I just take a little bit of water on my finger and just kind of rub off any debris. Okay. Kimberly Ann is in the house. Hello. Kimberly Ann is my sister, and she is also an amazing watercolorist. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off again because I don't want this too dark. So even if, even if I don't need to stamp off normally, I do want to see how dark that's going to stamp. And if it's too dark, then I know to stamp off between each impression. If it's not too dark, then I can just go for it. So this is not too dark. I'm just going to kind of come around here and put in some of these little branches. I don't have to ink every single time, but I'm gonna ink a couple times here. Okay, so I've got my little branches in now, and we're off to a good start here, okay? So we're gonna take the vine now. We're not gonna worry about the other branch yet. We're gonna take the vine and we're gonna begin to stamp in some of the yellow and orange leaves in with this vine, okay? So I'm gonna take that really cute little vine here. Sherry, I have the pumpkins from 5059 Harvest Set. Yes, that will work. Yep. And Debbie, was that the one you were mentioning? Yes, that's perfect. Sherry, that's great. Those pumpkins work very well. So this is number 993. This is that really pretty yellow. It's a bright yellow. And actually, I meant to grab number, oh, what's that one that I want? Is it 993? It might be actually. Yeah, it is 993. Apologies. There's so many colors. I'm like, sometimes I get confused. Okay, so I'm gonna begin by stamping in some of these really pretty yellow vines. And notice I'm only inking about half of this, maybe a little bit more. And I'm just gonna go in and stamp a couple yellow ones on every branch that I put in. This is a very, very simple wreath that really anyone can do. If you're just starting out and you don't have a branch, you don't have to include a branch. You can just do the vines all the way around and it's really, really cute. So don't feel like if you don't have all the things that I'm using that you can't do this project. You absolutely can do it. You just have to modify it a little bit. And we'll put a couple more in that one, okay? Now, just right on the side of the pumpkin, I'm gonna put a couple of these vines in just for continuity, okay? And it's okay if it stamps over the pumpkin, it's no big deal. Now I'm gonna use that same vine and number 925, and actually 933, not 925, 933. And I'm going to take 933 and ink the same part of the vine and go back in to these branches with 933. Do you see how much more orange that is? It's so pretty. Okay. Do the vine in brown for contrast if you don't have the branch. Great idea, Sandy. Good idea. I love the creativity. You know, you can make things work. You know, you have to have a little creativity and an eye for what you've got in your stash. And then you can say, you know what, I'm just, you know, the first step is being like, I'm going to find a way to make this work, right? And then the next step is to be like, okay, what do I have that could, you know, work with this? And then go for it. You know, it may not be exactly what you're hoping for the first time you do it, but I guarantee it will spark something in you that, you know, might be another idea that you hadn't thought about. So just try it. If you just have the vines, or you just have flowers, or you only have branches, you know, you can take your branch if you haven't gotten any of the foliage, which I highly recommend, or any of the flowers, which I also highly recommend. You can take just your branch if you want to, and you can dab your branch just like this and sort of create a leaf on here. Now, it's not going to be as, you know, as strong as something that you do like with a stamp, but you can get a little bit of a leaf in here, especially if you take now a little bit of a green from your palette and just kind of drop this in here. You can get a bit of a leaf, okay? So even if you don't have foliage, you can try to make something else work, because this color comes out of the lines really, really easily. So I'll show you again over here. And this one's a little bit lighter, so I'm not going to get as much out, but you can still get the idea of leaves, right? See that? So that's really pretty too, if you don't have a foliage. So just use what you have, try to make it work. If you don't have the colors, use different colors. It's okay. All right. So now we are going to keep going, and I'm going to take now the little branches. All right, so I'm going to use that little branch here, and I'm going to add a little bit of green to this, because we want a little bit of green in our little composition here. It doesn't have to be a ton of green, just a little bit, and a little bit of brown. So I'm going to ink it with the brown. Oh, there it goes. See, it can move around really easily if you get dust and debris on it. So I'm just going to clean this one off too. And I just take a tiny bit of water on my finger and just move it around on just the back. You don't want to get this wet. You just want to get the back wet and just kind of move that debris off of the back. And then dry it off, and you are good to go, okay? You can also use a wet wipe. All right, so now watch this thing cling. See? It like does not want to come off. Once you clean that backside, it's just so much better. All right, I'm gonna take the green and the brown. So I'm gonna ink that with the brown. And just a little bit of green here. It doesn't matter where you do the green and the brown, but I want to stamp this off just to make sure that it's not going to be too dark. And actually that's really nice. So I'm going to ink this again, and maybe different branches will have different amounts of brown and green. So I'm just going to stamp this in. Okay, oops, I was kind of off camera, but don't worry, I have the whole wreath to go. All right. So now I'm going to take a little bit more of that brown and that green. Okay. Yeah, just let me know if I'm off screen, you guys. Because sometimes it happens and I'm like you know, I'm so focused on getting these branches in that I sort of lose where I'm at. And so yes, please let me know. A little bit of that 177, that's the green I'm using, 177. And a little bit more brown. And we'll just put these in. Okay, they do not have to be perfect, like I said. These are gonna just be so cute once we add our water and once we get a little bit of that red in. If we want to add more color or more vines, we absolutely can at the very end. It's just really hard to take them away once you've already added them, okay? So we're gonna take our brush now and we're gonna start dabbing these little vines. So I'm gonna bring out this color, focusing mostly on those yellow ones right now. All right. The yellow ones here. And dab, dab, dab. All of those. Now I can go back in and dab all of the orange ones. And we're just dabbing these. Making sure to leave white space, right? And you know, this is something I haven't shown in quite a while. If you are dabbing, you want to use the side of your brush. So if you're new, or even if you've been doing this a long time, I want to show you the way that you're supposed to touch the paper with your brush, okay? When you're dabbing, you want to use the side of your brush like this, the side. You don't want to poke. So this is poking. Poke, 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 poke. Okay, we want to dab. We want to use the side of the brush, just like that. And that's going to disperse more water and it's going to move that color. We don't want to stab. We want to dab, not stab, as Georgia says, okay? All right. Now we are going to take our really pretty red, and I'll zoom back in a bit. And the reason that I saved the red for the very end is because it can really easily overpower your project. So you want to keep this until the final pass through over your wreath. If you do too many, it can just overtake it so quickly, okay? So I'm going to use number 885, and that's that really beautiful orangey red. Carla, no dancing, dabbing. You can do a little dancey dab too. Okay, 885, that's too good, Carla. All right, so I'm gonna ink those little flowers that we're using as leaves. And I'm going to just put in a little bit, just a few of these. I'm not gonna overdo these, okay? I'm gonna do just a very, very minute amount because this red just goes so far. Maybe I'll put one up in there. 885 is the red. We're just using this as an accent. So we're not going to stamp these, you know, 5 times or more. We're just accenting with this red. And do you see how much of a difference that makes just adding a very, very small amount of that red? It just adds a lot to your project, okay? Just want to add maybe one more little guy over here. Okay. Now, I think that we have some room to put these little leaves in here. So I'm gonna put just a few green leaves in here just to add a little bit more green, okay? And remember at the beginning I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have room for them, but I feel like we do because we've got a lot of space in here that they could fit. So let's go ahead and grab that really cute branch, and I'm just gonna put it onto my block, and I'm gonna use the 177. Okay, I'm gonna use a 177. Vicki Ann, great idea. The Framework Set 1 has some fun wreath bases. Yes, it does. And if you stamp it in a really, really light gray, you can go over it with your foliage and flower and you wouldn't even see it. If you want to see it, stamp it in a little bit darker color and then, or leave some spaces. So don't ink the whole square or the whole circle. Leave some intermittent spacing on it so that you can put some, maybe a pumpkin in there, or a bird, or you know, some more flowers or foliage. So just have fun with it. That's a great idea. Okay, so I'm just gonna ink a couple of these little leaves, and I'm gonna go in and just very, very loosely, I'm not gonna go in with very many of these. I just want a few of them. See how a few of them, it actually adds quite a bit. And I'm not super good at keeping things simple. I really like doing things that are really big and full and overwhelming. So I'm really stretching myself to do some projects that are really, really simple, because simple is a skill set. Simple is hard because you have to make a statement with just a few lines or a few stamps. And a lot of times I fill it in and it looks good that way too. But I really want to start having some fun with some more simple things. And we'll see how that goes, because my natural style is to fill it in. Like, if it's not too full, it's not full enough. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm gonna put a couple of these little green ones by my pumpkin. And how cute are these? Okay. Catherine, yes, simple is hard, but very effective. Yes, it is. When it's done well, it is really, really effective. That's a perfect way to say it. So I'm trying to stretch myself lately. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to these little leaves, and we can see it's kind of blending in with some of the branches, and it's coming out this really beautiful sort of brown, green, very fall appearing. And I had a little line out here from one of the branches, and that's totally fine. We'll just give it a little dab and it'll just blend it right in, right? Okay. So I'm just gonna come down here and just touch that. And we can also just touch those red flowers just a bit. And you don't want to bring these too far out of the lines. You actually want to keep this pretty close to the original image. But if you add a little bit of water, it can strengthen the red. Just keep it nice and close. Just a bit of water. And do you see how that makes that red just pop? Okay. So we have our really cute wreath now, and we need to just add our pumpkins. So we need to color our pumpkins. So I'm gonna take my palette, my trusty palette here that we use often. And I am gonna start with that really nice yellow. That same yellow I've got going on in here. So that 993. Okay. And I'm gonna take that and just begin to add it to my pumpkins. And see, I'm just kind of washing away that line that I made when I stamped in my second pumpkin. See that? You can just kind of wash it away and nobody knows it was there. Okay, I'm just kind of coming around here. And once again, we'll just wash that little line away. We'll grab a little bit more of that and put it next to here. And then once again, we're gonna add a little bit of that yellow. Ah, Catherine, lots of yellow. Kimberly will be happy. Very, very true. Kimberly Ann, where are you at? Very good point, Catherine. That's too good. That is too good. Yeah. Animals and yellow. That's her. Those are her jam. Okay, take a little bit of just plain water, blend that in a bit, and then we're gonna go in with our next color, which is gonna be that 933. So I get the 993 and the 933 mixed up all the time. So this is the orangier one is the 933. So let me fix this for those of you who are just joining. 993. Oh, Janet, you are so sweet. Janet says, driving home and listening as usual. Kendra, you have such a soothing voice. Oh my goodness. You know, growing up, I always hated hearing, and actually I still do. If I'm scrolling Facebook and one of my lives comes across, I'm like, oh my, I hate hearing myself. Anyone else just hate hearing themselves like on video or recording. I'm like, oh my word. But that's really nice of you to say because, you know, we're always so hard on ourselves. And that's very, very kind. Okay, I'm just taking that 933 and going over some of those yellow parts that I just put in. Now we are not going to be too careful about how we color these pumpkins. It's just a very, very simple way to color these. Just keep it basic. You don't have to overthink this. Just remember your highlight is kind of in the center and your darker areas are going to be on the edges. So do not overthink this. Our pumpkins are going to have faces on them, so keep that in mind. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of brown, so the 969, and you could do these in brown or green or both. I'm going to do them in brown. So this is the 969, and I'm going to take just a bit of that and color this in. Okay. And we're going to take our twin tone in here anyway and just sort of darken up some of these areas. Don't worry about this being too perfect. You'll notice I kind of came up a little bit more straight here. That's because I'm going to change up this, what is this called? A vine, the little vine topper where it was connected to the mother plant. So I'm going to change this up just so it doesn't look so you know, identical to these two. So I did bring it up just a bit because I do want to sort of change up how that looks. Just trick the eye a little bit. And then finally, I am going to take a little bit of that 925, the stem. Yeah, Catherine, the stem. 925. You know what? Sometimes it's the most simple thing. Okay. 925, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this just to the bottom of my pumpkins, where we might have a bit more of a shadow. The handle, yes, yes, the stem handle. That's what it's called. Yes. Okay, I am going to take my little twin tone now in brown, and I'm going to take the really, really fine tip. So there's a bullet tip. This is not what I want to use. I want to use the really, really fine tip, this one. And I'm going to go in. Now the underside of these little stems or these handles is going to be really dark. So that is going to be dark in there. Now I am just going to kind of change up this little guy here. And I know it's going to look very similar because I inked it probably a little bit too dark. But I want to just take this just a bit and make it just a thicker stem, okay? And then I'm gonna take this guy and we'll darken that up too. So you might be thinking, wow, that one's really dark. Well, I can always go over it with my, my little twin tone again and give a little bit of a highlight. So we can also make this just a little bit longer maybe than the other ones, because I kind of lost a bit of control over that brown there, which is fine. I just need to extend out the stem a bit more, and that will sort of help me regain some control over that area. Okay, now we want to add some of our little squiggles, okay, which you would see like out of a pumpkin. And maybe we'll do that, and then maybe up in here, okay? So you see these out of a pumpkin all the time. They've always got these little squiggles coming out, so we'll put those in. Now, if you wanted this to just be a harvest wreath, you could just leave it like this, as is. You don't have to go in and do the little faces if you don't want to. Now, I would suggest if you're gonna do this, put a couple little vines, maybe right between the pumpkins, or maybe, you know what we could do is another little branch. And I bet I could just huff on that. Yeah, so I could just put another little branch in here and be just a bit darker, a couple branches, that's fine. And do a couple more vines in here. Just grabbing that, oops, that's the wrong orange. So I'm gonna stamp that off real quick. I don't want the 925, and I grab this one all the stinking time. So I'm gonna grab 933 for my orange, okay? And I'm gonna ink that little vine. Now I wanna put that right on top of that branch, just so we have something sort of in between here, and it's looking more cohesive, like it's connected. Do you see that? Okay. And I'm sort of off screen again. And then maybe I could put in a couple yellow ones too. Don't overdo this. You don't have to. Here's me going and overdoing again. This is what I mean by keeping it really simple, is just doing a couple little things and just moving on. You don't have to overdo it, but I do like having it feel connected into the wreath. All right, and we'll add our water to that. So we'll just add a bit of water here. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna put in our little faces. So these faces are just too cute. You can do it with the twin tone, you can do it with a micron. Since I've got a lot of brown in here, I'm just gonna keep with the brown theme and use my twin tone. If you wanted a brighter face, you know, a more significant, substantial face, you could use the micron, the black, the dark, okay? So you're going to just keep it really simple. I'm going to use that brown twin tone and just start putting in my little faces here, okay? So you can do this, you can make them mean, you can make them happy, because this is a little bit of a, you know, a more florally sweet fall wreath. I'm gonna make my little pumpkins happy, okay? Again, you don't have to put faces on them if you don't want to, but I do kind of want to keep this still a little bit Halloween, but a little bit fall, and so I'm gonna put them on, but certainly up to you, okay? And let's see, where did I put my, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna start with just 2 little eyes and a little nose. Okay, and I do want to just a little bit fill that in, just a bit. You don't need to fill it in all the way, and actually you shouldn't, because this is sort of carved out, right? So we're gonna give him a really funny, cute smile. Okay, now for our next one, he is maybe going to have a cute little grinning eyes. And maybe he is gonna smile a little bit bigger than the other guy. So he's gonna have a really big smile like that. And maybe he's got a couple little teeth that we wanna put in here. Okay, and then the areas that we don't put teeth in, the back of the mouth, that's all gonna be dark. Okay, and we're gonna color this in. I'm sorry, I know I'm missing your comments here because I'm just filling in this back area. Okay, so there's our second little guy, and he's just having a blast. You can tell. He loves being in the middle of his 2 friends. Okay, and then this little one, we'll kind of do him a bit of an angle, because we want him to sort of be snuggling into his friends, okay? And so we'll make we'll give him a little grin as well, or maybe we'll make him be like, what's going on over here? And so maybe we'll add a bit of little eyes, and maybe he's like, what is going on? And he's got some little teeth too. He sees something that the other ones don't see yet. Okay. So I'm just going to fill that in. We all have this friend, right? We all have one friend who's this pumpkin right here. Okay. And there's our little faces. And they're just having a blast, okay? So you can do your faces however you want to do them, okay? Oh, Karen, he just whispered a joke into the ear of the middle one. Yes. And this guy's oblivious. He didn't hear the joke. That's hilarious. Yes. Oh my goodness. I think I have an uncle with those center teeth. Oh my gosh, Heather. That is amazing. Oh my goodness, that is too funny. So of course we have to add in our dots, right? So these wreaths are just so cute with the dots, and we want to add in those, okay? So I'm gonna take the little dots from the Bible journaling foliage set, which I don't actually think I showed you. It is, let me just pull it up real quick. It is in the new Bible journaling set, which is, if I can get to it, it's right here. So this one is the Bible Journaling Foliage Set 2. This is SKU 5418, and it's got all these foliage in it, and the dots are right here. This set is absolutely chock full of gorgeous foliage that you would use in any of your cards. Although it is Bible journaling, you don't have to use it in a Bible. You can use this in your cards too. So that's where I'm getting the dots. Okay, so bye Tina, good to see you. So now I am going to take these little dots and I'm going to use the 969 brown, okay? So make sure you have a little sheet of stamp off paper. I like to stamp these off just a bit, maybe once, until I feel like these aren't too dark. So I'm going to stamp it off maybe once. See how dark that is? That's okay, but I do kind of want these to appear just a bit lighter. And don't overdo these, just a few of them go a long way. But look how cute these are. I just can't. I love these dots, as you know, many of you know. I've been waiting for these to be released, and here they are. And so of course I'm gonna use them in like every project. And the really nice part about these dots is there's a little spacer between, so it actually is going to hit both sides of your wreath, which is really nice. And you can use one or both sides, however you want to do it. Okay. And we'll just stamp off some of those dots again. I know, don't these make a big difference? I know, they add so much. And you could do a bunch of them or just a few. Just like that. Okay, so we'll zoom out just a bit. And although this is still a little bit busier than that original one I was going to show you, I think it's so cute. I think it's really versatile. You could do a lot with this. Make sure that you erase all the lines from your wreath that you put in. So I'm going to grab my pencil wherever that went. And you want to make sure that you have a white eraser, okay? Make sure you have a white eraser. This is just nice. If you have a pink one, it's actually going to show up on your paper. It's going to come across as pink. So it'll either make a pink streak or it'll leave pink debris. So if you can get a white eraser, that is definitely going to be your best bet. And I'm just going to come through and erase some of these lines that we drew in. And I know sometimes I forget this step during my tutorials, but just know you can always, erase now or later. Just the biggest thing to remember when you're ready to erase is that everything is dry. You want to make sure your whole picture or your composition is dry, because the paper will rip, and that would just be so sad. After all this work that you put in and your paper rips, you just want to avoid that, okay? Okay. So we always want to sign our work as well. And I'll just put my little signature right in here. I'll just hide it right inside the wreath. And I put my name and the date so that I can look back and be like, oh, that was 2021 that I made this one. Wow, has my style changed, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple other takes of this wreath, okay? So I thought this one was really cute, but there are some other ones I wanted to show you. So this one is quite a bit busier, it has the pumpkin sort of throughout, and I used both sizes of the pumpkin. This is really busy, okay? This is really, really busy. And actually this was just a practice one, but I wanted to show you this because you can do it busy and still have it be super cute, okay? Obviously, there are some areas that are really, really full and really heavy in color, and if I were to redo this, I would probably lighten up some of those areas, but I did feel like I wanted to show you an example of a fuller wreath and the pumpkins sort of distributed throughout, okay? So there's that one. And then the next one is a little bit more similar to the one we did tonight, but these just used the little leaves instead of the vines. Okay, so these ones used, they almost look like bouquets of flowers as opposed to the vines, which sort of come off as the leaves on the branches. So you could do this too, and I used both sizes of the pumpkins here. And this is really fun. You can see I didn't erase my line. These are just prototypes, what I was sort of playing with as I came up with this project. Okay. And then lastly, this one is more of a simple one, and it's got a little bit different vibe to it. And this one is using one of the new wreaths. And I love it. It's super simple. I grabbed the light post from one of the Bible journaling sets and just hung it from the top of this wreath, put a little spider web. And I thought while we're doing this, I could show you another little spider web, which is so cute. If you guys want to see that. So typically you'll see me do this kind of a spider web that has a single focal point and everything is kind of drawn up to it like this. I haven't shown you a spider web that has the focal point in the center, that it's facing forward. Okay, so I thought I would show you that today, and actually I want to use a micron because I really like how thin the microns are in getting the webs to be really, really dainty and delicate looking. So, and let's see, where is my little micron, the really tiny one? I didn't plan on showing you guys this little spider web, but I was like, you know what? I want to. Okay, perfect. Then the other nice thing about the spider web using the micron is it's waterproof. So you can put your spider web on and actually color over it and nothing will happen. It's really, really nice, especially if you're doing like a sky in the background. If you have a spider web that you want to do, then you can you know, either do your background first and then put it in, or you could put it in first, and then if you're like, oh, I want a background, you can just color right over a micron, which is nice, okay? So what we're gonna do is put our focal point actually in the center. Okay, so you know, I've been just loving these spider webs, and I was like, I'm gonna show you guys this one. So you are going to anchor now to several different spots, and this spider is just gonna do his best to catch all the ones that he can. So we're gonna go maybe to here. This is gonna be a big web, and then maybe we'll attach here too. Okay, so maybe we want like a really, really big web, and maybe actually we'll anchor down here too. Ruth Ann, this lantern is from the Bible journaling set. Let me see real quick. This is from the Bible journaling set, column set. So let me just zoom out. This is the column set. Hang on one second. This one. And it comes with this really cute wreath and this column and then another pot. So I just masked off, or I just inked just the top part and stamped it in. Okay, so I just used that and then I hung that from the wreath. And I did not ink all of this down here. Okay, so that one is from the Columns Bible Journaling Column Set, SKU 5270. All right. So now we're gonna put, we're gonna make our big spider web, okay? Let me zoom in. Now, keep in mind, everything is being tugged to the center, okay? So we want to arch our little lines up toward the center, just like this. Up toward the center, we're gonna arch them. Just like that, okay? And then this is gonna be a bigger one. And we're gonna arch that up. And arch it up. Ideally, you wanna make the connection. Okay. All right. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this one. So we're gonna arch it up and make the connection. Arch it up. Okay, so we have half of our spider web in. See that? And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on this one. And I bet you can guess what we're gonna do in here. The same thing. And you're gonna make that connection. And it's arched up toward that initial focal point, okay? So you can leave it like this. You don't have to connect it all the way. I'm going to, because this spider is really resilient and he has found a way to make a giant spider web. So I'm just gonna connect all of this. This is gonna be a big connection here. He's resourceful and he found a way. See how big you can get that spider web. And so you now have this point of view, you know, facing the front, and also this one, and I can darken this up with the micron. I put this in using that twin tone, and it's really, I like to do my spider webs with the black. I just feel like it's a little bit stronger, but I was just kind of playing around. And they're coming up, arching toward that focal point, this focal point right there. Charlotte's Web, that's right. Okay. We could put in our little spider if we want to. We can have him just hang down. And we'll have our little arch here. That's his body. And we want 2 white eyes. Now remember, spiders have 2 joints in their legs. So you want to make sure that your little spider has 2 joints, okay? So we're going to have joint 1, joint 2, and then he's going to reach up to that web. Joint 1, 2, and reach up. And then maybe he has a couple little legs hanging down. Just like that. He's kind of a creepy spider. Okay. So you can totally do that one too. So it's really up to you. This branch is brand new. This is from, or this wreath is from the Bible Journaling Frameworks Set 1. So somebody mentioned the framework set. That's exactly right. This is from the framework set. That's this one. But look how many you get. So you can use all of these for your wreaths, and this is really nice. It comes in clear, just like that, and you're almost coloring the negative space in there. Okay, so this is beautiful, and you've got all these options too that you could use for your framework, okay? This is part of the Bible journaling set. It does not, again, have to be used in Bible journaling. SKU 5420 on this one if you're interested, okay? Velda, scene just made me jump from cute to creepy. Fun, creepy, but creepy. Totally. I don't want that spider near me or in my house or, you know, anywhere close by. Okay, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed these. This is the project we made today, if you're just joining us. And of course, I will share this to the Facebook wall. And we will be posting this by the end of the week to YouTube. And let me just turn the camera right back around and I will say my goodbyes. And I'll show you the catalog too, because I've actually been wanting to show you this really cute watercolor catalog. All right, so one moment. Let's see if I can get this in. Hello, hello, beautiful people. All right, so the catalog is just, it's so beautiful. So I don't know why we haven't been highlighting this catalog as much lately, but it is just wonderful, beautiful, so inspiring. And I have to give the credit to obviously my mom, who's the queen. But Joel, my brother, actually put this together, and he is so talented. So this is the 2021 Art Impressions Watercolor Catalog. You can see right off the bat, you've got these beautiful, inspiring projects on the front. And as you open it up, we have all of the watercolor sets, what you would need to watercolor, the most common things that we use for our projects right there. Okay. And then we have more watercolor sets. And a lot of people actually use this to mark off what they have. It's a really great way to kind of keep inventory so you're not ordering duplicates, because you can see we have so many sets of watercolors. And again, another 2 full pages of watercolors. And here, this is what I really wanted to show you, is we've got pages of inspiration. So, you know, you can see on here more sets, but on this side, these are all, sorry, that was kind of funny. I'm like looking under. These are all projects that are there for your inspiration. Okay. So all of those. And then the next page, 2 pages, is entirely inspiration that you can have as a hard copy, which is really nice. Okay. And then it goes into more of your accessories things for Bible journaling. And then the end is all of the Bible journaling watercolor sets. So they're all in here, which is really nice to be able to just look back and be like, do I have that set or not? They're all in here and they're all ordered to make it super simple for you. And of course, as many of you have noticed, all of the packaging has an inspiration on the front too. So if you order a foliage or a flower or any of these sets, you're gonna have a done project on the packaging that can help you with highlights and shadows and all of that good stuff. Okay, so even more inspiration now with the Bible journaling at the back. So this is all Bible journaling inspiration back here. It's just a really beautiful, and then of course the dies, which we'll have some fun with in the coming months. Okay, so just a gorgeous watercolor catalog. I absolutely love it. I wanted to take a couple minutes and just highlight it for you because I never really talk about it. I've mentioned it several times, but it is a really great tool to have. It's really inspiring. It's really bright colors. It's super vibrant. So many of you I can see in the comments, you have it and you love it. It's really, really great. So if you don't have it and you're thinking about it, definitely check it out, okay? All right, everybody. Well, it's been such a pleasure being with you again tonight. I hope that you had fun. I hope this inspired you to try your own fall or spooky wreath, and make sure you post them online and tag me. I absolutely love seeing your beautiful works of art. If you cannot get enough art impressions, which I can't blame you, you'll want to tune in tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time, for the queen herself. She is coming on with a super, super cute Halloween themed project. So this is not one that you want to miss, especially if you have Halloween cards to make and you're like, what do I do? You definitely want to be there for this one, okay? She is going to absolutely surprise you. It's nothing I've ever seen her do before, and so I'm super excited to catch that live myself. And of course, check us out on YouTube. This video will be uploaded. It's really, really good quality on YouTube by the end of the week. Subscribe if you haven't. And then also on Instagram, Pinterest, here on Facebook. You know, we're uploading all the time, so definitely come join us on there. And I said this a couple weeks ago, but I just wanted to reiterate it again. Our designers work so hard to put out these beautiful cards, these beautiful projects for you. So if you're scrolling by and you see a designer that really speaks to you, Karen Day, Dot, Trisha, any of our designers, and these are specifically, you know, girls that do a lot of watercolor for us. They're just absolutely amazing works of art. Give them a like, show them that you absolutely love that, you know, love their work, are inspired by their work. And if you feel compelled, definitely leave them a comment and just tell them how, you know, their work makes you feel, or you know, how you might try that yourself. So you know, we don't shout out our designers enough. They are just absolutely incredible artists. And definitely check out our Instagram. That's where we post the most about our designers. And so if you're watching and you're a designer, we love you. Please never leave us. We absolutely love what you do, and I hope that you continue to be inspired by AI, as we are all inspired by you. So thank you for joining again tonight, and I love you all. Take care of each other. Thank you for your kindness and encouragement for me. It means so much, and I hope you have a wonderful night. I will see you next week. Mwah! Bye-bye.